I honestly think that alternative tunings can level up everyone's guitar playing. So today, we're going to be diving into the world of DADGAD tuning. It's an awesome alternative tuning that's made its mark on countless musicians, and it offers amazing open string voicings that are going to mix up and hopefully level up your guitar playing. So in this video, we're going to explore the tuning. I'm going to show you my favourite voicings, how to find your way around the fretboard, and ultimately why I think it's so important to play in alternative guitar tunings. In all honesty, I've only just started using this tuning, and I have no idea why. I love playing in like drop D and stuff, but I just never actually put my guitar into DADGAD. But when I did, and when I started playing in it, I thought I had to make this video because it just sounds so cool. DADGAD is also known as Celtic tuning because of the way that chords can be moved around the fretboard whilst leaving the open strings, and this creates drones that are really similar to traditional Scottish and Irish music. But the tuning's also found its way into more contemporary styles, including some of my favourites like alternative Indian shoegaze. Anyway, let's get set up, plugged in and tuned down. Okay, so I think it's probably pretty self-explanatory from the name, but basically we've got D, A, D, G, A, D. Okay, and the chord that you hear when you play this thing open is neither major or minor. It's a suspended fourth, and it sounds like this. It basically gives it this kind of restless feeling. And if you know anything about this channel and you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know that I love suspended chords. I love the fact that they don't sound major or minor, and I just think it sounds so cool and always just has you guessing as to where it's going to go next. Just by tuning down to DADGAD, I think that you open a world of different voicings that you're not going to get if you're just playing either standard or drop D. I think the magic really lies in the open strings here. They're going to just allow you to create rich and resonant chords that are going to add depth and character to your music. So anyway, let's have a look at what we can get out of this tuning. Basically, our top strings here are D, A, and D, which is obviously the same as drop D. So to play a power chord, you can basically just bar those top three strings anywhere, and they're just going to be a power chord. Just like you would in drop D. But where this differs is if you're playing in the key of D, you can basically allow your high strings to ring out, and they're going to add really cool sounds to it. So for example, I'm going to hit a B power chord, but then I'm also going to add those open strings as well. And it sounds pretty cool. And you can just kind of move those around the fretboard if you want. I mean, even just that, I think that's just adding something that I just wouldn't get from drop D. So obviously we've looked at barring the top three strings and creating like a power chord. But now to find major and minor thirds, we can basically find them on the G string. Again, we're going to play a B, and we're going to play those top three notes, and then add on the 7th fret the minor third. And then what again makes this tuning so special is then when you add those other two open notes, it just sounds so cool. And then if we move down to an A, we can then find the major chord by only dropping one fret down on the G string, like this. And then the same with the G chord. And it just sounds really, really cool. But actually, when I'm playing and I'm putting majors and minors in, I actually drop this finger here, so I let this D ring out in the middle, and I just think that sounds even cooler. So then the B minor sounds a bit like this. Okay, so now we've worked out those chords, you can basically find your way around the fretboard using the major and minors with those strings open. As an example of this, I basically put this song together by just messing about for 5-10 minutes and kind of coming up with a chord progression that sounded really cool, and this is how it sounds. I think for me, and probably some of you as well, part of what makes playing guitar so awesome is trying to shape your own kind of sonic identity and find things that Yeah, they might be from stuff from the past, but you're not directly copying it. And I think maybe sometimes we can get caught in the trap of, say when we're in normal tuning, we know where everything is on the fretboard, we know what notes we're playing in melodies and stuff. And I think weirdly, sometimes that can be a bit of a hindrance. So what I also love about this tuning is that when you play these kind of open strings, you can just find little melodies that, I mean, I don't even know what that is. Maybe I should, maybe that's saying something about me. But I think just moving your fingers around these shapes can just be really cool. And so again, what I've basically done here is had a little play around and then added something to the track that I did before and made like a bit of a lead line, and I think it sounds pretty cool. To play this lead line, I've basically added a bit of modulation on the DD7, a little bit of reverb, and also a harmony of the octave up on the Digitech whammy, which I think always is a winner. Okay, I think that lead line was basically testament to what I meant about how when you take yourself out of your comfort zone and you're just doing stuff by ear, you can actually come up with some really good stuff. And how forgiving this tuning is with those open strings can actually make you sound a better guitarist than you are. Now there's one more area where I think this tuning can really shine, and that is with a heck load of reverb. And if you've watched many of the other videos on this channel, you'll know that I sometimes love to go really over the top with reverb and just mess around with like shoegazy kind of styles. And when you combine a lot of reverb with this tuning and the open strings, when you move between chords, the kind of overtones and stuff you get just sound really awesome. Again, I didn't really want to overcomplicate it, so basically I just added some of the DD7 on the reverse setting and then like a massive reverb on the Strymon. I think that sounded really cool, if I do say so myself, and I just don't think you get that from like if you're playing drop D and stuff, because you just get those really nice high strings just open, just droning away, making stuff sound awesome. And also, I think if you wanted other keys with this kind of tuning, yeah, you could tune to different keys as well in this tuning, but also you could just pop a capo on and you'd have loads more options. I really want to reiterate that for me, and hopefully you too, playing in these alternative tunings is about the creativity it can spark from getting out of your comfort zone, but also the forgiveness that these tunings give when you're basically playing like every string and just moving around the fretboard, that it really adds to that ease of creativity, and hopefully you can find some amazing chord progressions and also lead melody lines too. These progressions and melodies and stuff might end up being similar to what you normally make in your normal tunings, but just with the difference of the alternative tuning, it's going to sound different, so it's basically going to be a different song anyway. And I think that's really important because basically we've only got 8 chords in each scale, so there's only so many things we can do on a guitar without just repeating ourselves. If you've been inspired by DADGAD, then don't hesitate to look further into it, and there's some amazing songs that have been recorded in this tuning. I know that Kashmir by Led Zeppelin was, and I know John Martin and Ben Howard, who I love, also use these tunings a lot. So really deep dive it if you want and hear how other people are using those voicings, and then you can put it into your own music. And if you've enjoyed this and want to discover some more alternative tunings, then watch this video here next.